My Wooting 60HE just got a whole lot better. A few weeks ago, I made a video talking about the Wooting 60HE and comparing it to a custom keyboard that I built. And in that video, we talked about some of the downsides that the Wooting has compared to a custom board. When it comes to gaming, the Wooting outclasses the custom board in pretty much every technical way. But when it comes to regular, everyday use, overall sound and feel of the board, the custom comes out on top. Well, what I did to my board may have just evened the scales a little bit more than I thought was possible. You see, the Wooting comes with these switches. These are the Gateron Lecker 60 switches that come with the Wooting when you buy the full keyboard. These switches are good and were a good first generation of the Hall Effect keyboard market, but they don't really live up to the expectations or standards that normal mechanical switches have. These switches sound thin and pingy and not great overall. They just don't have a good sound profile at all in my opinion. And I think the biggest issue with the Lecker switches is the stem wobble and the top and bottom housing tolerances. The top and bottom housings do not fit very tightly together. You can even move the two parts around when they are fully attached to each other. And the stems are not bad in general, but they have crazy bad stem wobble, and it has actually cost me in game. So that issue of the sound and the key wobble made me want to find something that just performed better in general. In comes this, the Geon RaptorHE switches. These switches are an upgrade in pretty much every single way. The top and bottom housing fit together perfectly, the stems are smooth and have no scratchiness when pressing down, and the overall sound profile is a lot more how I like my switches to sound. These switches aren't perfect by any means, they still have a little bit of stem wobble, but not nearly as much as the Lecker switches. But when it comes to performance, they worked immediately out of the box with my Wooting 60HE, and performance in-game was great. I didn't notice any performance increase or decrease with the Lecker switches and these besides the stem wobble issue. The top and bottom housing material is nylon while the stem is POM on these Raptor switches. And these switches have a little lighter of an actuation force or bottom out force than the Lecker 60s do, with a 52 gram bottom out force. However, the real magic happened when I modded these switches. They are factory lubed, so you don't really need to worry about that, but the springs are dry, so you can bag lube them if you want to, but I didn't really see a need to do so, so I didn't. The mod that I made to these switches that really brought them to life is a stem replacement. I took the stems of the Lecker switches and put them in the top and bottom housing with the spring of the Raptor switches. And now, this board feels and sounds amazing. It virtually removed all of the stem wobble, and the sound of the board is deeper now, and it feels amazing to type on and to use in game. Here is the difference in sound between the stock Lecker switches, the stock Raptor switches, and the hybrid switches. I definitely think the hybrid switches sound and feel the best out of all three of these options. So if you have a Wooting 60HE, maybe consider trying out these Raptor switches. It really leveled up the feel and sound of this board, and I don't really have any issues with the Wooting 60HE now besides the stabilizers, which I still think could be better. But the fact that these switches only cost about $30 for 70 of them makes them a very good deal for me. A ton of new Hall effect keyboards are being released, and I'm going to be taking a look at one that I don't really hear anyone talking about in the near future. So make sure you guys are subscribed for that if you want to see it, and please consider liking this video if you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and as always, I hope you have a wonderful day.